The first one is always special because it's such a unbelievable honor, and then each one brings its own unique feeling to it. But after everything that I've been through, this one means a lot to me.
You were saying last week that you felt you weren't playing up to the level you had before you missed a year. Was it a little surprising to you? Was this the most surprise maybe when you heard it?
I don't believe that I've played to my best potential, but I do believe that I've played pretty well this year, and over the course of the year, certainly improved. It was a little slow early on, but I knew that would be the case, and just kept getting better and better, and the team's gotten better and better, and our group's gotten better and better.
Does the play feel that way for the group? Do you think you're peaking at the time that you need to peak?
Hopefully we're not peaking until early February, but I think one of our goals always in our room and as an offense and as a team is to continue to improve. Win or lose, look at the film, try and figure out what's gone wrong, what's happened well, and build on those things and try and improve week to week.
When you look at 263 rushing yards and more than 36 minutes time of possession, how proud are you and this offensive line did this week?
That it's not just on us. For us to have a successful running game, it involves a lot of people, including the tight ends. Obviously, the running backs, the quarterback being able to handle the outside stuff. When you can move the quarterback in the pocket, it makes it easier to keep that end a little bit wide on the backside of those runs. And then specifically this week, the wide receivers did an unbelievable job of getting in there, digging guys out, and providing just another block. Sometimes that can be the difference between that 4-yard run and a 20-yard run.
How odd was it not to have Dak taking the snap in practice?
Yeah, it was pretty normal. I know it sounds odd to say that, but we switch things up a lot. We have guys backups in quite a bit. It was a little bit surprising. I didn't know. During the walkthrough this morning, I had to kind of double take. I didn't know what was going on that first play in the huddle, but we're super confident in our guys. They probably wouldn't be here if we weren't, but Cooper Rush is a more than capable quarterback, and no matter what the situation is, we're still getting great reps on our plays.
Talk about Dak's toughness. He ended that thing in the second series of the game and played the rest of the game with that shoulder.
Dak's just a warrior, and he continues to impress us. As an offense, and specifically, I know we talk about it a lot in the O-line room, just how much of a dog that he really is. And when he goes out there and runs over a corner or puts his body on the line to get that extra yard or get a touchdown or shrug off a guy that maybe we let go, he fights for us, and he fights for this team. And it's just something that he does as a person that we can't rave enough about.
Through the off-season program and training camp, you were building confidence that you'll be able to get back out there. But was there a game early in the season or a series where you started going, okay, I'm going to be able to get back pretty close to what I was before I had to miss this year? Was there a point?
I think it was just growing through the year. I don't think there's a specific point that I can go back to and say, everything's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. I remember that first day in pads in training camp, and I remember the first preseason game. I remember the first game, and just going through and getting that muscle memory back and things like that. I think a lot of it had more to do with sitting out a year and not being able to do those movements more so than it was strength-based or, it wasn't remnants of what that disease was. It was, I think it was just not having been in there and seeing those reps.
Given what you said in terms of Dak's toughness and willingness to fight for his teammates and so forth, what would it take to keep him out of the game?
I think you'd have to tell him that he can't play in that game. I don't think there's any way that he'd take himself out. He's one of those guys you'd have to hold back with a leash to be able to not be out there. So, whatever happens, he certainly has my full support. If he can't play, I don't want him out there, because that means he's in a situation where he could injure himself further or not be a benefit to our team in the future. So he'll be there.
Have you had that tough label on him from the very beginning?
Absolutely, 100%. I think that's one of his core pillars of his personality. He's a tremendous leader. He's super smart. he fights, and toughness is definitely one of those things.
How much do you think the success you had running the football will create a confidence level that carries over into your performance against Philadelphia?
We always want to be able to run the ball, but it's been back and forth this year, and everybody asks that question. All right, well, you're not running the ball well enough, and now you're running the ball well. It's about being good as an offense. It's not necessarily running the ball. I think that as you get later on into the season and you get into colder weather games, running the ball becomes more important. Being able to run the ball becomes more important just because that's kind of how the games flow. And it's something that we as an offense, you've heard Coach Garrett talk about it, we try to eventually wear on teams. And I think that running the ball, especially this late in the season when guys are beat up already, can help make the third and fourth quarter a little bit easier.
But you don't think that's your offensive identity anymore? This is a run-first, physical type team?
I think our identity comes into being a well-balanced, explosive offense that has the ability to make plays in both the run and pass game. And I think Coach Moore's done a great job of balancing us out and giving us the opportunity to make explosive plays and still maintain our identity as tough individuals that are making plays on the field.
With Dak banged up a little bit with the shoulder injury, does that emphasize the need for the run game more so this week?
I don't think so. I think, like I said, if Dak's out there and playing, he's going to be playing at the top level that he can play at. And if he's not, Cooper Rush is a heck of a quarterback, and we have full trust in him. So, our offensive game plan, as far as I'm concerned, now I'm not a coach, but as far as I'm concerned, our game plan doesn't change no matter what.
You mentioned how you guys like to wear on the defense with the run at this time of year because everyone's banged up. On the flip side, how important do you realize that keeping your defense fresh and off the field as much as possible will allow them, when they're banged up at this time of year, to keep going?
I think complementary football is a huge part of being successful, especially this late into the season. And we talked about that after Chicago, that just wasn't complementary. And it wasn't always necessarily offense and defense. Sometimes it was run and pass, and sometimes it was being able to play as a team and play back and forth and pick each other up is really important. And when you can hold the ball, when you can possess the ball, it allows your defense more time to rest, and then they can be, more burst effective, if you will, 3 and outs, those type of things. It keeps them off the field and keeps them fresh, and gets us back out there, gives us the opportunity to put more points on the board.
Travis, is there a sense that with having to rebuild and come back from the injury, from the deal the way you did, is there more room for growth than there would be without that in terms of you personally, or is it kind of hard to really know?
I think that my ceiling has moved a little bit, and I don't know if that necessarily means that it's moved up to be a better player, or has the room has gotten bigger and the ceiling's gotten wider, if you will. And that year off helped me learn a lot more about the game and approach the game even more cerebrally than I did before, in seeing things, defensive recognition and all of that. So I think that's definitely helped my game, and physically and technically, you get back to that top end level, then in theory there's more to go there because I have a higher IQ going in there too. So I think there probably is a little bit there.
How is the room handling the magnitude of this week?
This is another game for us. We treat all the games the same. We try not to look at what the outside implications are, because honestly it doesn't really matter. Every game is going to have some sort of implication to it, and I'm sure that there is some situation that will lose this game next week if this and this and this. For us, we're going out to play Philly, in Philly. It's always fun to go out there and play. It's a unique crowd. It's a unique atmosphere, and we have I would say, a great tradition of going back and forth with Philly. So it's a good game.
Can you